Alright, this was the Lyrical Etude for the Florida Symphonic Band All-State for the B-flat clarinet. This is the 13 of 32 from the Rose 32 Etudes for clarinet. So just a couple of things we want to think about. So the first thing when you're working on this etude is think about what tempo you're going to want to take. That's adagio, but there's not a tempo marking specified. And so when we have this very lyrical, slow etude, we want to look at the fastest sort of rhythm that we have. And if we look at this section, it's in measure 7 where we have these 30-second notes, and then we also have some 30-second notes in measure 8 and measure 19 as well. So when we're thinking of a tempo that we want to perform this at, we want to think about that in mind. We don't want to think about these first two measures, which are just, half notes and quarter notes. If we think too fast, we're going to have some problems when we get to those faster rhythms. So that's something that we want to keep in mind as we're practicing this. Another thing, just some finger-wise that might be tricky. If you're like me and you don't have the extra E flat key in your left hand pinky mechanism, you're gonna have to slide in measure 6. So, and because it is articulated, that you should be able to do that pretty seamlessly. So that's just something that you'll have to practice. And another thing to think about, because it's very lyrical, we want to, even though there are some dynamic markings in here in this edition, we want to include our own expressivity. So right at the beginning, it's piano, but it's marked espressivo. So we want to think about what the shape of the line is. So right off the bat, the first two measures, I'm thinking crescendo over the first measure, decrescendo into the second measure. And if you think ahead as well, there needs to be some kind of crescendo because we have a decrescendo that's marked in measure 3 and 4. So we want to think about where we can add more dynamic contrast. Another thing to think about while you're working on this is that this is a very chromatic etude. So anytime we have a chromatic inflection, we want to bring that out. So that's the G sharp in measure 3 or any of the chromatic passages we have. The D sharp in measure 19 is also one I would especially bring out. And so just anytime you have that kind of chromatic inflection, you want to emphasize that a little bit just to show that it's not really a part of the key center. All right, happy practicing. See you next time.